Mr. Speaker, late last year, this government used its majority to adopt a bill I called an Act respecting the interests of Irving Oil. It contained an amendment to the Petroleum Pricing Act that created a carbon adjuster, which was a gift to Irving Oil. Mr. Speaker, the only reason gas is going up by 8 cents a litre in July is because of what the Premier did, and that was to implement what Arthur Irving asked him to do. This Tory carbon adjuster enables Irving Oil to take money out of our pockets and put it in theirs, rather than having them use their windfall profits to clean up their gasoline and diesel products, as required by Canada's new clean fuel regulations, which were designed to ensure no immediate impact on fuel prices. But the Tory carbon adjuster is ensuring we're paying an extra 8 cents a litre in July. Mr. Speaker, can the Premier tell us how many meetings and phone calls has he had with Irving Oil representatives, including Arthur Irving, since the 2020 election?
Minister of Natural Resources and Energy Development.
Mr. Speaker, how dare the member opposite try to turn something as important as a protection measure for small businesses in New Brunswick into some sort of a big conspiracy theory about Irving? It's very frustrating to see misleading conversations take place like that. How many small businesses would the member opposite be in favour of seeing shut down? And is he going to come with us when we go and put a lock on the door and say, we're sorry, because of my narrative and my myopic focus on taking a shot at Irving, I didn't care enough and my words got your business closed? How would the member opposite feel about that? Mom and pop shops, small convenience stores with a gas pump out front, that's what built the entire province of New Brunswick. There are large petroleum companies here in the province of New Brunswick. They can handle the absorption of a great deal of stuff that small businesses can't. The member opposite needs to get out of the ideology of the I'm just speechless. I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated at the member opposite's lack of concern.
Member for Fredericton-South. Order.
Monsieur le Président, le gouvernement fédéral a négocié avec l'industrie pendant 7 ans pour qu'il existe de nombreuses façons de se conformer aux règlements sur les combustibles propres. Le gouvernement fédéral a négocié avec le ministre de l'Énergie du Nouveau-Brunswick et ses collègues du Canada Atlantique pour leur donner ce qu'ils voulaient. Ils ont demandé que la mise en œuvre du règlement sur les combustibles propres soit retardée de 2 ans, jusqu'en 2023, et que la production d'huile de chauffage soit exemptée de règlement. Toutes ces demandes ont été acceptées, Monsieur le Président. Pourquoi le Premier ministre cherche-t-il à semer la peur maintenant, Monsieur le Président, alors que ce gouvernement a obtenu tout ce qu'il voulait?
Minister of Natural Resources and Energy Development.
Mr. Speaker, there's only one person in this House right now trying to spread fear, and it's the leader of the Green Party. It's the leader of the Green Party because when we talk about New Brunswick and the years it's taken to talk about what clean fuel or the regulations mean for an impact on New Brunswickers, it's one thing to talk about that. This is a federal policy that doesn't take regional distinctions into consideration. We don't have a subway network here in New Brunswick. We don't have public transportation that goes from one end to the other. And the person, the man, the woman that has to get up, pack a lunch, and go to work has to drive the same distance every day. This clean fuel regulation is idealistic, and it sounds great if you can hop on a subway and head down there and collaborate yourself and get on a bus, an electric bus in a major city or something like that. We want to aspire to that, but we don't have that here in New Brunswick. What we do have is an unfair regulation that's going to cost New Brunswickers more to get to work. That's not fair.
Member for Fredericton-South and Leader of the Party.
Mr. Speaker, the Premier opposes market-based approaches to cutting carbon pollution. He's opposing this regulatory approach which provides refineries with the least cost opportunities to produce cleaner fuels through a whole menu of compliance options. He opposes public investment in public transportation so we could get from here to there in this province. But, Mr. Speaker, he was happy to create the Tory carbon adjuster to provide Irving Oil with a potential windfall. When the company finally chooses to innovate, as Irving Oil is bound to do, and profit from complying with the clean fuel regulations down the road, they could end up pocketing buckets of our money gifted to them through the Tory carbon adjuster. If this happens, will the Premier make Irving Oil give the money back to New Brunswickers?
The Honourable the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I think my colleague has covered that very clearly and what it means to retailers and how it protects retailers in this change. But I think that the Leader of the Opposition, the Leader of the Green Party, needs to understand, Mr. Speaker, that the situation here with this refinery is such that the actual federal rules have denied the carbon credits that would actually allow the company to put in major investment in cleaner technology. They have denied 80% of their volume doesn't qualify, Mr. Speaker, because they're an export refinery. Now, what does that mean? What it means is ultimately this refinery could say, I don't need to be in New Brunswick. I'll buy from India. I'll buy from somewhere where there aren't any regulations, Mr. Speaker. So that's what the Leader of the Green Party would consider success. So, Mr. Speaker, that's not going to be success. So how do we change that? Well, first recognize where it is on environmental standards, which they would find where it is, and certainly at the top refinery in the country. So, Mr. Speaker, let's work to provide cleaner operations here, but let's not be negatively impacted with the federal rules that now exist on our own industry right here in New Brunswick. Mr. Speaker.
Chef de l'Opposition, officielle.